There are two things we're going to cover in today's presentation. It is going to be the transitions and the animations. See up here that I have my slides all set. I don't have all my information in, but that's okay. I'm going to come over here to the top where it says transition. Now a transition is just like Pixie where it's going to go from one slide to the next. How do you want it to go? So when you come over here, transition toolbar or sidebar comes open, and you can choose the different way that you want the slides to transition. You can flip, you can apply it to all slides, you can play it to see what it looks like. So in this case, you can see how it flips in. You can come in after it's done, you can hit stop, come back, take a look at it again. In this case, after flip, we might want cube. Notice in this case, there it goes in and out, and you might say stop on that right there. Now it's going to fade in on the click, and it's going to fade in on the click. So we've got a couple of them going on. If we want to, we can go up here. If we want to get rid of one, we have a little X. We can go ahead and get rid of it. If we have this one right here, if we don't like it, we can get rid of it. So in this case, we can just play the slide, see how it looks. There it goes. And I've got one going right there, and I can stop. Now, if I come over here, you notice this slide has no transition. Okay, so if in this case, I might say no transition, I might say a fade. I might click on my third slide, come back over here and do a flip. Might come on the fourth slide, come over and say, we've already done a fade. How about a slide from right? And the last one, we're going to transition into the gallery. So in this case, we'll see what it looks like. There we go. I kind of like that one. And so each one of these can be different. Now you could go up to the top. If I come over and click on my first one, I'll stop here for a second. Come over to my first one. You do have the ability to go ahead and apply to all slides, and you do have the choice in how you want that transition, whether you want it to be 5 seconds slow, or if you want it to be about 1 second or less than 1 second quick. So if you take a look here, if I hit play, you notice that it's quite slow. It's going to take 5 seconds for that to come in. And so what we might want to do is we might want to speed this up just a little bit. So I'm going to hit stop. I'm going to come over here to medium, about 3 seconds. And that should be good for each of these. And so I can go through and I'll come back to number 2 and slow it up. I'll come back to number 3, slow it up just a little bit. And I'll do the same thing to the last couple over here. And again, this is how your slideshow goes from one to the next. So if I come back to the first one, and I want to go see how all this looks, up here at the top it says present. So if we hit present right here, it's going to load up. There it goes. You notice it's not going to go anywhere until I click. As soon as I click, there's the fade. As soon as I click there, whoa, that's a nice little flip. I click, there's this little slide off to the left or slide in from the right. This one, there's the gallery. That one looks nice too. And then down here at the bottom, I know you can't see it, but it says exit. And I can come back, and that's how you set up the transitions. The next thing is the animations. Now the animations are the same thing as transitions, except for it covers the words and the text boxes that you have, as well as the pictures. So for example, if I click on George Washington over here, and you notice immediately over here on the side it says animations. Now I'm going to click this out of here, and because I want to see it just in case you don't have it, if I click on this box, you notice the animations don't pop up in this case. So then I need to come over to the tools or arrange. I need to take a look. Somewhere in here is going to be the animations. So if I come in and change the transitions or insert, there it is, insert the animation. So it's in the insert box up there at the top. Here's the animation, and the animation's right there. Now this is how do you want the words to come in. So in other words, if we click on this George Washington right here and we say the slide is going to come in as a fade in, but we're going to add an animation. And this is on the click, it's going to show George Washington. Okay. And then if we come over here and we add another animation, if I click over here on the presidents, in fact, I'm going to come back here and get rid of that one. I'm going to click on this presidents first, and I'll add the animation. And in this case, we're going to say fly in on the click. So anytime I click, it's going to come in. So if I come over here and I play, you're going to notice that when the slide comes in, it's going to be empty. Now this is a great opportunity to start your presentation because you're going to pretend you're actually talking to the students in your class and presenting this. This is why you would make a slideshow. Notice here, they don't get to see everything in the slide. So you get to control what your audience sees. So if I click here, now you get to tell them that it's George Washington. You notice right there, that faded in. If I click it again, you notice how that faded in again. I had a double fade on there. So it tells me I need to come back over here to the fade in. I had 2 fade ins for George Washington. I need to get rid of one. So if I come back over here to play again, it's going to load up. And again, it's going to show nothing. But when I click, there goes George Washington. Now the next one flies in right there. So we're going to follow that red line on what it's going to do. You've got the slide right there, then comes fade in, then comes fly in. Now when I go to the next one over here, and I'll stop this for a second and go over to number 2, and we play this, you notice when this one comes in, goes from George Washington to this, my audience sees everything. And honestly, I don't want them to see the picture, and I don't want them to see the words. I don't mind if they see the earlier years. So that just tells them what is going on. So if I come over here and I click on George Washington, I'm going to add the animation. I'm going to say, why don't you zoom in? We'll zoom it in. And on the click, and my other options are after the previous or with previous, but in this case, I want to control it by the click. And then I'm also going to go ahead and go click on this and say add animation. We'll have this just fade in on the click, and we'll make it a little bit slower. So in this case, we have 2 animations and a slide transition. So if I hit play, here comes the transition. Notice the early years we didn't do anything to, so it's going to show it right off. Then when I click, here comes George Washington flying in, or actually zooming in. And so this gives me a chance to talk about these things right here about George Washington. And then if I click again, they finally get to see the picture. Well, in this case, I really don't like it because I want them to see the picture. I want them to see the picture first before they see the words. And that was a fade in. So you notice here, I can take this and I can grab it and I can slide it up before the actual zoom in. So in this case, you're going to see the picture first. So if we go hit play in this case, it'll go there, the transition, early years. Now when we click, we're going to go right over here. Notice the picture's right there. It says fade in. So there goes the picture. Gives us a chance to talk about what he looks like, although this really isn't the best picture because it really isn't him in his early years. So that's something I need to look at. And then when I finally click in the words, there they come. Okay, so it gives you a chance to control your words, your titles, your pictures, and things like that. That's what an animation does. Again, animations are over here in Insert. They're over. Let me hit stop over here. Insert, and it was there. Oh, I think because I already have them there, we'll X them out. And notice the animations are right there. So I'm going to click back on this first one. And my animations are right here, although I have to click on some words in order to get animation. You see that? If I don't click on anything, then obviously I can't add animation to it. So I'm going to click on the words, and then you can go ahead and get that animation toolbar to where you can work on it. Again, they have the small X's there for you to take them off if you have too many of them. And I suggest before you say that you're done and you move on to something else, I suggest you come back and actually present your presentation. You and your partner stand next to each other, look at it, and go through your presentation and make sure it looks good. Hope you had fun. Thanks.